All y'all showed up.
There
Yes,
you go.
there we go. Recording in progress. Okay, now it's recording. Okay.
Rewind.
So this is pretty much another person trying to come in. This is pretty much just our first general meeting for the property playmakers. Yeah. So this is really supposed to be an interactive discussion. I have a couple things written down, but I'm definitely not about to be the only person talking all night. So let's let y'all know now. So I guess I wanted to start off with the information that we learned from the attorney in the last meeting that we have. Because there wasn't a lot of people in there. So we spoke with Ariana Smith with AC Smith Law Firm, and she told us that we needed to form one LLC for the property playmakers with all of us as members. And then we could also have our separate LLCs for anything that we wanted to do individually. And we also spoke about trademarking the property playmaker's name and how that would go, and pricing for that and everything else. And then just kind of like some things that I thought we could touch on today. I was thinking we could actually we could actually talk about like forming the LLC, like maybe what state we would think about forming it in, maybe if we could even have like a timeline for that, and then also just a timeline for like our first goal that we're trying to reach, which brings me into talking about goals for the property playmakers. I wanted to discuss the wholesaling together. Maybe to talk about like the first property that we wanted to buy, and then talk about teams, and also talk about the calendar. And I mean, that's if we get to everything. This account is free, so we only got 40 minutes. I mean, so from there, is there anything anybody would like to talk about first, or should we just jump into talking about the LLC, the Property Playmakers LLC? Jump in.
I think that would be a good start, and then that kind of goes into how everyone wants it formed, I guess, and where the trademarking comes in.
Question on like the LLC. So
you guys are muted, Anthony, just in case. I'm not sure.
I'm sure they know that.
Okay,
so question for the LLC. So we're now gonna have them as like the parent. So we're all going to have our own individual LLCs, but are we going to like create an LLC where we're all partners, or how would that work with everybody working together? I guess my question.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I took from the attorney that we spoke to.
Right.
That we need to create an LLC where all of us are members, so we would all be an equal member of the Property Playmakers LLC, and then we would have our own individual member LLC. Like I would have my own T. Scott Enterprises that I already have, and it has like nothing to do with Property Playmakers. So but I'm a member of Property Playmakers.
Right. So then how do you guys want to play that out? So each person will be, or the owner of, that's how I know they have it listed as an owner. So each person that shows up as an owner is an equal owner, or in the Property Playmakers LLC, you guys want it all evenly, or I'm not sure, just asking obviously what you guys thought, or if somebody should have more or less or something like that.
I think, does it depend on where it's formed? I think I know my LLC that I have in New York, I think it's set up as members. And I think everybody's a member, but I mean, that could be wrong. That could be wrong. I'm not sure.
I think
I thought that you could set it up as like a one member or a multiple member LLC.
I think it depends on your operating agreement that you have to set up as well.
Yeah. Operating agreement.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Can we make sure that we at least raise our hand so we're not talking over each other? Because I didn't hear what the last person just said.
Sorry about that. How you doing, guys?
Hi, how are you?
I'm Rashid Shampi. This is my first night in. You guys can call me Chi. But what I was saying was, I think it depends on the operating agreement I think we have to set up, especially because if it's multi-members, we kind of have to assign different roles for people and the percentage of people as well.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe we could have another night with an attorney to go over that. And she was like a trademark attorney, so maybe we could have like an actual LLC attorney to talk
We are
about
going to have
that.
the real estate attorney come in on next week, so I believe that she should be able to tell us how to structure everything. But remember, when we were talking to Ariana the other day, she said that in order to do that, we all have to have like that 4 entity set up for the business. So no matter what state we're in, that 4 entity is like doing business as, if I'm correct, for property playmakers. So no matter if you're in New York, California, wherever, having it set up that way, we still can do business because of that.
Yeah, so essentially the as Chi mentioned, you said Chi, right? Okay. Yeah, so as Chi mentioned, you set it up where every member could be equal members of the LLC, property playmakers. Later down the line, depending on various roles, and once the LLC grows, I think we can, through the operating agreement, actually outline how that's going to work later on in the future. But I think starting out, it could just be equal if no one has any, quorums with that. But where the actual LLC will be established, that's a good question. The attorney mentioned that what we wanted to do was actually speak with the CPA to find out where the best tax advantages are. And she mentioned was it Maryland or New Hampshire?
Delaware?
Delaware.
Yeah,
Yep.
Delaware.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm from Delaware.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, so she mentioned that, but to check with the CPA. So Chi, maybe you could speak to that. The tax advantages, or like, is that how you understand it? That Delaware is the best state out of the United States as far as tax advantages are concerned?
I do know that's one of the states. There are a couple. I know Delaware is one of a few.
Wyoming is another.
Wyoming, yes, that's another.
Okay, cool. So we got Wyoming and Delaware. So yeah, so we could schedule a meet with the CPA, and then that will at least give us, okay, where we want to establish the LLC. And then every other state would be, we register as a foreign entity in those respective states.
Yeah, imagine where we want to do business at. We probably have to register in that state as a foreign entity.
Right. Exactly. Anyone else had any thoughts?
Hi guys. I had a question going back to the LLC. My question is, how many members can you have on the LLC?
I was gonna ask that same question, if there was a limit of number of members that an LLC can have.
Because I know when like in like the business, you have beneficiary owners, and in order to be a beneficiary owner, it has to be at least 25%. So like, I don't know if like LLC is the right thing, or can it be maybe a C Corp or a corporation maybe? I don't know, but if anybody have the answer to that.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Alicia.
Alicia.
Alicia, sorry about that. I'm messing up everybody's name. First meeting, second meeting. So the Ariana said that you could have as many members as possible, but I think that's a specific question. Like Tiana mentioned, we need to, probably just hire another or engage another LLC specific attorney and find out, for certain.
Okay, from a quick Google search though, from irs.gov, it says there is no maximum number of members. Most states also permit single member LLCs, those only having one. Owners of an LLC are called members. So yeah, most states do not restrict ownership. So members may include individuals, corporations, other LLCs, and foreign entities. That's from irs.gov.
That's what ChatGPT said too.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Hey.
Hey.
The only reason why I brought up the operating agreement, because I just done one, and I know specific banks, like, so if we're trying to open up a business account at some specific bank, they require an operating agreement along with bylaws as well. And I know the operating agreement want you to break down the percentage of partners. So that's why I brought that up. So that's a good question, but I'm just kind of wondering how that compares to, opening up the LLC and then we're trying to get established at a bank, and we have to set up a operating agreement.
Period. They got 30 days. Yeah, remember.
Hey, everybody. To my knowledge, with the LLC setup and operating agreements, you want to be careful with the operating agreements. When you go to any bank, but make sure.
Sorry, Brian, one second. Can everybody mute if you're not speaking? Can everybody mute?
They just kind of consider that they have to manage themselves. Nope. A lot of the companies.
The host should be able to mute everyone.
Yeah, let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I was just saying, when it comes to banks, every bank is different, and every bank requires different things. Some banks require operating agreements, some banks don't. But if in regards to the operating agreement, you want to be careful the percentage of ownership of the people that you, if it's like more than one people that own a business. Usually people get stuck at when they put, like, if they do, like, if it's a two people own the business, if it's 50% ownership, 50% ownership, say the other person, has bad credit, or they have some on their record that would disqualify them with the bank wanting to do business with them. You have to be aware of that stuff, and you want to put the person that's in the best, you want to put people that's in the best position to get funding on your only on your operating agreement. So if that's stuff you want to be aware of, and in business planning, y'all deciding to go into business together, you want to do checklists like, so what's your credit look like? You don't got nothing on your background that will hinder us, right? Those are questions you want to ask, because unless if you are going into business with somebody like that, or somebody that has those issues, if they're less than a 20% owner, they don't even matter to the bank. So that's something to keep in mind. And again, all that has the total ownership, the number of members has to total to 100%. So that's just something to keep in mind, for those banks that do require wanting to see an operating agreement. That's stuff you will want to be aware of in structuring your business. Hope that helps.
It's a good point.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a good point. I mean, like when I went to research for the credit union that I work for here, they never even, when I was like, hey, what do I need to open in a business account? All they said was a EIN and the filing receipt. They never, that's why I was like, oh, I guess it depends which establishment it is, like what bank, if it's a credit union, what state, because some of them don't ask, like he said, for the operating agreement.
Another thing I forgot to mention is always do your homework beforehand. Like these businesses, these banks want your business, but at the same time, it can't hurt you to call them and ask like, hey, I just started a business, or hey, I got a business. I'm wondering, what do I need exactly, in order to come open up a business account with you guys? And you can spend it, make it worth their while. Like, yeah, I and coming to open up my business, I want to be the best, as best prepared as possible. So could you tell me exactly what I would need to open up a business account with you all? And usually they'll tell you, because yeah, they don't want to waste time either with somebody that's unprepared, or somebody that may not even have their stuff in order. So you can always ask. The same with applying for business credit products, loans, lines of credit cards. You can always ask. Some banks like to hold back, and then some will, yeah, they'll tell you everything you need. So never doubt or avoid calling beforehand. And that makes you better prepared and makes you knowledgeable of what these banks will require, or a bank that you were intending to open an account with or apply for a credit product. That'll let you know where you stand. Like, okay, well, I don't got all that, so I'm gonna have to wait. Oh, okay, I'm in good shape. I got all that. I'm gonna go tomorrow. That makes a difference.
Quick question. Is this a dumb question to ask the bank? Like, what credit bureau do they pull from? Because I know that we're supposed to be knowing that as the Fund Your Freedom Challenge, but I was asking.
Always good to ask that too, because banks change up from time to time. They'll use one credit bureau for half a year or for years, and then once, yeah, they'll switch up. They'll switch up, and then you like, especially if it's a bank that you got credit products from before, you like you said, we a lot of us were in the Fund Your Freedom Challenge, so we learn how to finesse and fix our credit. So when you come back, after maybe 6 to 9 months after you apply for funding with Chase or Amex or whatever, and you go back and like, all right, yeah, they pull Experian, they play a TransUnion, then you go reapply, and then you get denied, or they tell you they need more information. It's most likely because they changed up what bureau they use. So yeah, it's always good to ask that, definitely, because also a lot of these banks, they sometimes want to pull your credit on a soft pull, just to see if they're going to approve you to open up checking and savings accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I think you touched on a lot of points. One of which, considering the members who would be members of the LLC and their the state of their credit, and anything like that. I think once we speak to another attorney to see, maybe there's a possibility where we could set up an operating agreement with initial members who are in the best position to do that. And then there would be a partnership agreement with the rest of the members, to where we can ensure that the rest of the members are still being, considered and have that equal split, if you will. One of the things that another thing you touched on, because my wife and I, we're military veterans, so we bank with Navy Federal Credit Union as well as Bank of America, and they pulled. We have a business credit card with them. They approved us for.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 25K for the business credit card for our LLC for the real estate arm. And they pull from Experian, which our credit score right now was close to 800 at the time. It was like 799. So but that's so that's a great point, Brian.
And I think the max that they give is 25K.
Yeah, the max
right?
that they give for the LLC is 25K.
It's on 25, so.
Okay.
Hey.
Cool. I'm back. I know it shut down. It completely shut down. I had to get in on my phone. I couldn't get it to come back up. It's still ain't up.
You're trying to leave us early, huh?
What we talk about now? Credit?
Yeah, Brian was touching on a few points as far as because Chi mentioned the operating agreement and carefully considering the members who are in the best position to get approved for credit per bank. And then Brian touched on several points as far as what particular questions to ask, and which banks, whether they do a soft pull, whether they do a hard pull, whether, things of that nature. So I'm glad we're recording it because I'll go ahead and transcribe it. That way we can actually pull or extract the actual highlights.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really glad he brought that up because I was actually gonna ask how we should do that, how we should decide like who is the person, that applies for this and that applies for that and things like that. So I'm glad that up. That was a really great point.
I have like a kind of dumb question here. Do all members of the LLC have to be listed on the operating agreement?
Does anybody know the answer to that question? I think we might have to get an attorney to answer all of these.
I don't think everybody has to be listed on the operating agreement. It could be changed at any time. I had a conversation with one of the coaches at FYF, and basically she said what Prine said, you pretty much want to put the best person in position on the operating agreement. So if it's one person in the group that has an 850 credit score and you want to get funding, you put them on the operating agreement, get the funding, and then if it's a credit card, you can, issue out however many like employee credit cards you want so everybody can have access to the same funds. But basically you want to put the best person in position on the operating agreement.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
again,
essentially we can all be listed as members of the LLC or, when we file, but we don't all have to be on the operating agreement.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yep.
yeah, again, too,
Thank
the
you so much.
operating agreement, the operating agreement is usually supposed to be internal to the business, and it's only a select few of banks that actually request the operating agreement in addition to, like your business articles of operation and the EIN letter. But yeah, you still want to keep that in mind just in case they do to put the most the best qualified people on that operating agreement just in case. But usually the operating agreement is supposed to be an internal business document for only that business, which helps you because it can allow you to finesse, the people who are operators or have ownership of that business, for when you go get funding from different banks.
Yeah, I think it's just more or less you accessing, from that bank. Not all of them do, but I just went to Dover Credit Union to apply for a business. I'm a big advocate of credit unions because I was prior military too. And they did require an operating agreement. Not all banks do, but that just kind of gives you some kind of access to the banking as well.
can move on to like the groups and stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking, we don't have too much time, so does anybody else have anything else to say about forming the LLC, or could we move on to another topic?
We can
Okay,
move on
let's
to a different topic, but we can always restart the Zoom up again and do another.
Yeah, we can always restart it. And we can continue the conversation. Did we decide on bi-weekly? You know what? We'll have to talk about that here. So should we talk about like the teams? Should we talk about teams?
We can, Joanna, but I just want to let you know, Tiana, I apologize.
I was like, girl, what you say?
He passing it on to me right here. We pay for the Zoom link, so we go out, we can come back in, and it's like unlimited. So just FYI, if we need to continue and we want to continue on the conversation, we can just create another link and sit in the chat and then start from there.
And no cap, whenever we do the lawyer, I want y'all to send out the Zoom link too, since it is unlimited. You feel me?
I know. I didn't know y'all had an unlimited Zoom. Y'all should just
we didn't want to assume that everybody, didn't have or what they had, But
I was just looking at it now. I was like, oh, we should just get one of these for the LLC on its own, and then you could just have a license for that. And then when you sign in, it says the name on it. So
that's true. That would be a good idea.
That's an idea.
Property Playmakers account.
I'm the tech team,
Y'all take care of that. But yes, we can move on to the teams and what that looks like for everybody, what they're interested in. Just go from there. We can definitely do that. I know we sent out a link or in the chat, the groups or different teams that you can join in. And if that's something that you're interested in, just let us know so we can start beginning that.
Oh, there was a sign up link in the chat?
We didn't have a sign up link. We just made a list of everything. You can kind of discuss it and say, hey, this is something that we're interested in. And I would like to be on that team or all the teams. Who cares? If that's something that you want to do.
Don't be busy.
Yes. I mean, we need all the help so we can grow and, so.
Okay, so how are we gonna start the sign up for the teams? Should we how is that gonna look like? Do y'all want to speak about the teams?
I'm gonna let the tech person speak about it, how he's gonna create it and make that magic happen.
No, I was working on something else for the team, but I think we could just do something simple, just like a quick Excel spreadsheet, just have, the different sheets be labeled as, a specific team. And then we can just sign up there because you could just share that with, the team.
Oh.
And just start with something.
So do you want to do, oh my goodness, not a Google Doc, but a Sheets doc. So everybody gets access to it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. And they will just have like separate tabs for each team that you designed, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, I could have did that then. I could.
I know. I thought it was gonna be
I mean, come on now. So yeah, so we can do that. We'll try to have something by the weekend, just have it ready where everybody can kind of sign up.
Ooh, Google Sheets to sign up.
Okay.
Cool.
Is that it for the teams?
Short and simple, just like that.
I guess so. Short and sweet.
Have an idea of what they want to be on, or we're just gonna do like a poll and they can pick what they want to do? Should we do a poll where people say, I want to be on this team?
I mean, do we need a poll if we have the sign-up sheet?
Right.
Hold on, is this pinned? I was trying to pin the
Google Sheets for sign up.
Yeah.
I'm a little sorry, guys.